We have Fon Walters with us. Welcome, Fon.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here.
The listeners have an idea about you and your background, but I would love to hear, how did you get into this work? Give us kind of a story about your life and how you got here.
Yeah, so for me, I think a lot of us get into health and wellness through our own struggles. I think that's pretty common. And for me, I was always really healthy. I was involved in sports and loved staying fit and things like that. But I did have one problem. When I was about 12, I moved from Mexico to Texas. And in Texas, we have mold, right? And there's a specific kind of mold called alternaria. And we're not exposed to that out in the desert. And so when I got to Austin, all of a sudden I started having this weird pesky cough and respiratory issues, not knowing that I was allergic to mold, severely allergic to it. And so what happened was I ended up getting some sort of bronchitis in the fifth or sixth grade. You know what I mean? And ever since then, I had struggled for years with my lungs, my respiratory health. And then one night I had been working and I stayed up late and I was listening to I think it might've been Coast to Coast AM or something like that, one of those late night things. And I was driving in my car and some old guy mentioned, cordyceps, like mushrooms,
Yeah.
and got into respiratory stuff. And they were talking about lungs and stuff. And I was like, oh, wow, this sounds pretty far out there. I've never really heard of a cordyceps before, or medicinal mushrooms or anything like that. I think I had heard of reishi and maybe maitake,
Mm.
and ginseng, but that's about it. Right. And so I'm listening to this show and I'm like, wow. And then coincidentally, I started working for the corporate headquarters at Whole Foods Market in Austin, Texas at the same time. So I hear this show and then I go down into Whole Foods and I got cordyceps and I started taking them. And I'm like, oh my God, I started experiencing these different things. I started taking them for my lungs. But what I noticed was an increase in energy. I'm an avid mountain biker. I noticed that my performance was better. And not only was I performing better, but I was recovering faster and feeling less taxed, if you know what I mean. And it felt like when I was breathing, I was getting more oxygen. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, what is this? So then I started looking more into it, right? And then the cordyceps improve oxygen efficiency, and they, all these athletes and Olympic level people use these things for sports performance as well. So I started to realize just because something in the natural world is good for benefit A, because they help the body in such a general way, you might get a broad spectrum of benefits you weren't even looking for. And that's what kind of steered me on the path to first mycology and second herbology. And keep in mind, this is around 2003.
Okay.
This is over this is a couple decades back. And then, so I had this second thing happen as I was having this unfoldment and learning these things. A second thing happened, and that was that I had this memory of oh my God, I remember one time when I was 17 or 18 years old, I went to Whole Foods with my bandmates because I grew up playing music. I was a drummer, guitar, bass, and stuff like that. And so we wanted to go to Whole Foods and check it out because, it's like Whole Foods. So we go in there, we're walking around and we're looking on the shelves and saw those little bitty ginseng shots. And I was like, hey, man, that's like what those Kung Fu masters take and stuff like that. And my buddies were like, well, hey, man, let's get us a couple, So we all got a little shot of ginseng and we shook them up and put the straw in there and drank it. And I'm not even kidding. I started physiologically, it almost it made my blood start pumping. And it, gave me an erection or whatever,
Oh,
almost within 15 minutes. And I was like, hey guys, I don't know about the ginseng. I got to go. I got to get out of here, and then, so what happened was I was a young athletic dude and I already had such abundant ginseng chi tonic, right? I didn't know any of this stuff back then, but I took it and that's what it led to, right? So as I'm discovering this cordyceps thing in the lungs and I'm noticing the improved vitality, I have this flashback to that scene of being a young kid drinking ginseng and what happened. And then I was like, oh my God, that's what really piqued my interest.
mm.
Subsequently, this guy that I barely even know, rando almost, right, gives me a book, right? He's like, hey dude, Fawn, this is gonna be kind of weird, but you're gonna need this book in the future. And he gave me this book, and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. And then a couple months later, I had to get on this plane flight, and I opened up the book. And by the way, the book was the Herbal Almanac. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
It was by Donald Law. I remember this because it really started. It shaped what I eventually got into, which is herbology, right? And so I get on this plane flight back to New Mexico from Texas to see my grandfather, and I popped that book open and I started reading it, and it just blew my mind. And I read it from cover to cover, like in a couple days, and apparently memorized and retained quite a bit of it. And yeah, that's what led me into herbology.
Oh, wow. So it was just meant to be. You weren't going to be anywhere else, Fawn. This is where you are.
I never thought I would do anything but play music when I was a kid. Like I never thought I would be into this stuff, but then I had my mind blown physically by my own experience. And then I got the book and realized that there was a million different remedies for a million different issues. And
Mother Earth has remedies for all of our ailments. It's just reconnecting to that. And so how, like, lead us into, how did you get into Proof Vitality? Because I'm really excited to talk about these supplements, and specifically the and the extracts, whatever. You're going to tell us all about it. But why they're so important, and why you put them together. I want to hear all about it. So how did you get to Proof Vitality?
So step one was before Proof, I went to work for Whole Foods Market. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And within Whole Foods, luckily I was in the department called Whole Body. And Whole Body is where you go to buy not only topical body care, but actually the supplements and the internal stuff too. So all the herbs, all the vitamins, all the protein powders and everything. So that's the department that I was working with in Whole Foods. So I went from this experience, my personal experience, to being working in that department. And when I got there, I already had this book, and I was already wanting to be into this stuff. So I was able to jump in there, and I actually went down and worked on the floor level, because my goal was to learn every single herb. I was more interested in the herbs than the chemical vitamins, right? So I wanted to learn every medicinal mushroom. I wanted to learn every herb, and eventually I wanted to learn the flower essences, and I wanted to learn homeopathy and work with them all. So basically that's what happened. And I got into there. And then what happens is phase two is I start realizing like the great supplements, and then the middle pack, and then the lowly ones, like the wild west supplements. And I start to realize, because the industry's not super regulated, basically there's this huge spectrum of what you can go get when you try to go buy supplements, especially if you go on Amazon, right? You don't know what you're getting into over there. I mean, you could be buying sawdust in a pill for all I know. You know what I
I
mean?
know. Yeah, don't buy your supplements on Amazon, my friends. Please don't do it.
Yeah, it scares me. You just never know. Well, we can talk about some stuff on some stats about that, but like I know like astaxanthin in particular, like they scanned Amazon astaxanthin supplements one time, and like over 60% of them were either counterfeit, or they were not the appropriate amount, or they were using some sort of synthetic, like basically synthesized astaxanthin, not from the algae. You know what I mean? So, and then the other stuff was like toxic filler and whatnot. So, less than half of those were actually going to provide, results. You know what I mean? Anyways, back to what got me into it. So I jumped in on the Whole Body team, and my goal, like I went through the department and I learned every herb on there, and I went and studied them and made sure I knew what was going on. Then I realized that there was a huge discrepancy in quality. And then I started to figure out that because people always would say that there's no science on plant-based nutrition. And then I discovered that there actually was. And the first thing I was thinking is like, hey, if we have all this plant science, then why doesn't anybody like actually sell the scientifically verified version of this supplement? And so basically nobody had like sold out to that concept and said, no matter what, we're going to get the clinically studied, patented, highest, cleanest, most sustainable version of this ingredient from the proper country of origin, right? Because, I'm not trying to bash on China, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want pine bark extract from China. I want French pine bark extract. And the reason being is because like, for example, if I go source pycnogenol, like French pine bark extract, I know that it's coming from a pristine maritime pine forest. The factory's inside the forest. All the pine bark is eco-harvested, and they're conscientiously taking care of the planet as they're getting this plant medicine ready.
Love it.
So when I started figuring things out like that, I eventually wanted to start a company. And I started a different company initially called Dr. Vims. I didn't name that. I never would have said doctor, right? I was more on the product side, and so I got that company going, and then eventually that one fizzled out, and it was a little bit ahead of its time. We were focused on hormonal balance for men and women. So we had a cool concept, but we didn't have the right marketing. We never had the ability to really get the brand off. And then I went on to start consulting for other brands and things like that. And then I was like approached by a friend of mine named Dennis McGuire. And he was like, hey, look, man, like I used to help him with his herbs and his supplements and things like that. And he's like, look, man, I really want to get out of home. He built world-class like homes. He's an amazing home builder. But he's like, look, man, I really just want to help the world and I want to do it in this field. And what do you want to do with supplements? And I was like, all right, man, it's funny you ask, because I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I want to do nothing but clinically studied, patented ingredients in the science-based dosage so that we can take these and kind of assume we're going to get certain results after a certain amount of time based on science. That's why we're called Proof Vitality. It's really just because we want to use proven ingredients that actually work.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing, Fon. Thank you. Because you're right. Like there's so many supplements. It's so overwhelming. Most of them are not quality, or integral. And it's like, we're all just spending so much money. We used to spend thousands of dollars on supplements. And so, but why these 4 ingredients?
Okay, so these 4 ingredients, basically I honed in. A lot of the decisions we make are based around our own lives, right? So like I'm pushing 50, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when I got into herbology, or got into like the supplement company thing and wanted to put a project together, I was like, okay, you know what I really want to do is I want to focus on healthy aging. And the concept of, beauty from within. And beyond that, how about look good and feel good?
Yes.
Right? Because everyone's talking about health span these days too. It's not just about longevity. It's about the quality of life. So basically how you feel as you're getting older, right? Are you still living life to the fullest? Are you getting most out of your day? Right? So like these are the sort of things that I was pondering when we chose the ingredients. So we started out, we already knew that we were going to do nothing but clinically study. We already knew we were going to do therapeutic dosages and whatnot, but we didn't know exactly what to start with. So what I did was I got my Rolodex out and I got all the best ingredients for healthy aging. And we made like kind of a chart, and it would be like, first off, how versatile is this ingredient? Because we were only going to choose a few to launch with. So we wanted something that would cover the most benefits that would fall into the category of healthy aging. So at Proof Vitality, we consider that about 6 categories. And it's really 5 categories. And there's an overlapping category that's the sum total of everything.
Okay.
And so basically the way we look at it is skin's the largest organ on the body, right? So we want to take care of that. So the big 5 is we want to do skin health, right? Heart health, brain health, immune health, and inflammation support, right? Now, the sum total of these things is healthy aging, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So when you look at like our core product, which I would say is I know we have 4 ingredients, but the core of our company is based around our anti-aging beauty bundle. And so when you look at those products in that bundle, they do like 4 or 5 or 6 out of those things, each one. So when we got into this, I had already been in the supplements game for 20 years, right? So it's not like I had to just figure this out overnight. We had a whole lot of data going in, and we optimized it over about a year with a bunch of willing guinea pigs to figure out what we were going to go with. And basically, those were the things we were looking at. So just once again, overlapping thing is healthy aging and beauty from within and look and feel better, right? Heart health, brain health, inflammation support, immune health, which all affect skin health, right? All those things affect your skin, and we're going to get more into that. You wouldn't think that your cardiovascular health would factor in, but it does, and it does big time because of microcirculation. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to go get very versatile ingredients, but we wanted to make sure that we weren't just overlapping those ingredients. So once again, beauty from within. So the way I like to think about it, we can get into some specific ingredients here. So the beauty bundle, which is our 3 most popular anti-aging products, consist of AC11, the 11 stands for the 11 patents. This is a patented extract of the inner bark of cat's claw, which is also called Uncaria tomentosa. And so this is a plant that grows native in Bolivia and Peru, and that's where ours is sourced from. We have the only clinically studied one on the planet, backed by 42 clinical studies for not only internal use like that we take it, but also topical. So this
Okay.
is a powerful plant that could be a topical and an internal antioxidant.
Hmm.
And so I consider this the foundation of our anti-aging protocol. And there's 3 products in the beauty bundle that, like I just said, and then so I kind of consider this a 3-phase support system. And starting with cat's claw, obvious, right? So the reason that I put cat's claw first is not because it's better or worse or superior or inferior. It's because foundationally of what it's doing is it works by clearing junk out of your cells. So every day we're accumulating all sorts of toxicity, right? Like it could be pollution. The biggest contributor is actually the sun, right? You're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You guys have UV light. I think it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
is UV zone, right? So you're being bombarded. So basically, our cells are accumulating all sorts of junk every day. Now, aging is a natural process and it's going to happen, right? But our goal is to combat accelerated aging.
Yes.
Like, what would contribute into accelerated aging? I mean, it's the obvious thing, like the sun,
Yep.
smoking, drinking, junk food,
Yeah.
GMOs.
Lack of movement. Yeah.
We know what these things are. So the same things, it's either lifestyle or exposure things. So we're getting all this junk, and we want to kind of combat that. So in the foundation, we like to consider AC11 cat's claw our foundation because it works by clearing junk out of the cells, like daily detoxing the cell a little bit. And what it does this more efficient than any other thing that we know on the planet right now, to the level that your body's actually able to clear enough junk to repair its own DNA, right? So we're talking about DNA repair here, like foundational level, healthy aging at the cellular level is literally what we're talking about. And so when you talk about that and the getting rid of the junk and the DNA repair, there's a huge trickle down effect. Now, number one, we focus on our beauty, right? So the first thing I always let people know about is type 3 collagen. So clearing out junk, repairing DNA so that your body can actually produce new, fresh type 3 collagen. And type 3 collagen, everyone knows what collagen is, but type 3 in particular is for, youthful skin. It's supporting the cutaneous tissue in your skin. And so we're looking at that, so DNA repair, lengthen telomeres, skin, and then there's other trickle downs too.
Oh, I just want to lengthen telomeres. I'd love for you to just talk around that a little bit because some people might not really understand what that means.
Yeah. So basically, when you look at a diagram of DNA, there's always that twisty little belt, and it has the little bands on it, right?
Yes.
Now, those are telomeres. Now, as we age or we get exposed to chemicals and toxicity or radiation or whatever, the edges of these little guys can start to erode. And as they erode, you are aging. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so basically, that's what we're talking about. And that's what we're talking about with DNA repair in general. Like, this is like one of the only things on the planet we know, besides vigorous exercise and things that take a lot of effort, they're going to allow you to do this kind of DNA repair and reverse age, basically, at the cellular level.
Yes. Awesome.
So that's what we mean by telomere lengthening. And so the other trickle down benefits, which also affect our aging and the way we feel, is this clearing out the junk and repairing DNA. It allows your body to repair its immune system. So it's helping the body do its own natural function first off, right? Which is to repair itself. The skin, then the immune function, it lengthens the life of white blood cells. So you have a younger, more effective immune system. And then it also helps repair the brain and neurons and things like that. Obviously inflammation support, we addressed that earlier, like, inflammation in the accumulation of toxicity is what ages us. You know what I mean? So we're combating inflammation at the cellular level. We're helping your body repair its own DNA at the cellular level to produce better skin, better immune function, better brain, better blood, healthier blood pressure and things like that.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the foundation. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So now we have cellular repair, and that makes so much sense in so many ways. And I love that you've found something that is actually shown scientifically to do this, because a lot of people need that. They need to know that it's going to work.
Yeah. Another thing they need to know is they need to have the confidence that what they're getting is the ingredient that actually does that. And once again, like, I didn't go, great, cat's claw, cool. Let me just go to China and see, and what's the lowest price, on a kilogram, because that's how the supplements industry works. I work in the supplements industry for quite some time, on not only on the storefront level, but on the company side and as a consultant. So I know what companies want to do.
Yeah.
And we're doing the opposite of that.
I would really like to talk kind of about the issues with the supplement industry. And then I want to come back to the other, because a lot of people are buying their supplements on Amazon, Fon. Like they don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts, right? So
Yeah,
this has
please.
nothing to do with Proof Vitality here. This is just a general 101 lesson,
Thank you.
how to choose and buy a supplement. Like forget about our ingredients for a little bit.
Gotcha.
So basically, when you're coming from my background and you've worked at Whole Foods, and once upon a time, pre-Amazon especially, Whole Foods was like it was like a vortex for healthy people that wanted to experiment with healthy food, organic produce, and grass-fed this and that, and healthy living, like whole body stuff, like non-toxic body
Shampoo.
care
Yeah.
and supplements. Now, just like your shampoo and your cleansers and stuff could have parabens and sodium lauryl sulfate and all these things that are bad. Now, our supplements, it's the same, right? First off, sourcing. As you know, like most of these ingredients are coming from China and India. They're not necessarily coming from pristine, clean places in China and India, though, right? We don't know. And when you look at a plant extract under the microscope, they don't all look the same. Like there's this, for example, chromatography. You can see an imprint of a plant, like what it looks like under the microscope, and you can see like activity. So that's you can scan herbs for activity and see what's going on there. And so one thing is it's just particle sizes, and the other thing is impurities and things like that. But whether you're talking about efficacy or purity or safety, sourcing is very important. And we know that most companies are sourcing bottom line pricing, right?
Makes
Now,
sense. It's just about money. It's not about health again. Here we go again.
yeah, well, it's a marketing machine. And the supplement industry, what happened is it's been tainted a little bit more recently because of statistics. And we know that the data suggests that the health and wellness industry is on the rise. More people are turning to supplements. Every day we're bombarded with more toxins and more toxic insults coming at the body every day. And every decade, it's going to be more and more, right? So the approach to healthy living is like, hey, man, I might need more than just food. I might need some very nutrient dense supplements. So we're turning to supplements, but we're not getting what we think we're getting sometimes. Now, it's not always just the ingredients that are the problem. Number two, I would say the biggest problem besides the sourcing is the efficacy and the dosing. And so, for example, with pycnogenol or something like that, we know we're getting in the healthy range between 30 or 50 milligrams up to if you're really compromised, 200 milligrams or even more, right, for specific things. And we know that because has a certain level of activity, right? So we can measure, and then we can get the proper dose. Now, even if you can do that with these generic ingredients, they're fairy dusting them, which means that they're not putting the proper dosage. So they're not hitting what I call a threshold dosage. Threshold is where you would start to see some sort of activity. So bad ingredients to start out with, improper dosing, right? And then the third thing is the fillers. So magnesium stearate, stearic acid, silicon dioxide, artificial colors, those capsules that look cool, that are red or whatever, or blue or some cool looking color. What do you think made it that? Artificial color, or, so they're putting artificial dyes in there. And, that I'm sure that there's worse things too. We talked about the Amazon problem using synthetic astaxanthin. When you know darn good and well that there's a clinically studied one that's made in the USA or made in Japan, and that is natural, it's not synthesized, right?
You're going to pay a little bit more for that. But I would rather invest in something that's actually going to help me than just keep throwing my money away at supplements that are just actually going to make me more toxic or actually aren't doing anything. I just think our listeners need to understand that, do your research and support companies that do it right too. I'm huge about that.
Yeah, it helps. That was another one of our foundational core values though, was that in itself, not only are we going to get the right ingredient, right, but it's going to be junk free. The threshold dosing, we're not into that. We're into therapeutic dosing. We're into no fillers, and we're into using the right capsule or soft gel or whatever it may be. So yeah, unfortunately, the rest of the industry needs to be put on notice.
For sure. You're forging a new path. Okay, so we talked about cat claw. Is there any more you want to add to that, or should we move to the the
Yeah, cat's claw was just the foundation. That's phase one, right?
Phase one. Okay.
So the next stuff that I would like to get into, let's do astaxanthin.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I say astaxanthin in Proof Vitality, we mean specifically the real astaxanthin. Okay, so just like we didn't go get the random Chinese cat's claw, we got the real cat's claw, right? And I should have probably told you one more thing about that. We can get into that later.
Okay.
But it's the, remember how we were just getting into the phytochemicals, the active compounds?
Yes.
So our cat's claw, for example, uses it's standardized to 8% CAEs. Those are responsible for 90% of the activity of this plant, right?
Oh,
Everybody else's stuff that's sourcing from China, they're getting alkaloid extracts, and that's not even what you're supposed to be extracting for. So,
wow.
it's, and the last thing I'll segue one more time. When it comes to things like that, foundationally, that's what we were trying to do. When we started the company, we wanted to go get these things for all those reasons. It's not that it's just the right ingredient, it's the right form of the right ingredient from the right country and all that. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
now
Yeah.
jumping back into astaxanthin. So
Okay.
phase two is radical antioxidant support and mitochondrial health. Okay.
Hmm.
So the reason that we honed in on astaxanthin, it's not just because it's a broad array of benefits, right? So this one, once again, like we want to get into talk about healthy aging, right? So this one as a, is a free radical scavenger that supports skin health, obviously, immune health, sports performance, eye health, and gut health, right? And the gut affects skin and affects our whole body, right? Our immune systems and whatnot. So this one we went after because this is the only astaxanthin that I know of that's backed by 160 clinical studies. It's got over 70 human trials. So once again, we're not playing a guessing game here. We know exactly how much to use. We know how to deliver it, and we know where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, the dose range on astaxanthin, I think, is probably around 2 milligrams up to 12. And most astaxanthin comes in 2 to 4 milligram range, right? So if you wanted to get the maximum dose of 12 milligrams, you'd have to take 3 to 6
Hmm.
soft gels. So with proof, we know that you want to get your supplementation and you're going to forget to take it when
Yeah.
you have to take it 3 times a day. So ours is 12 milligrams all in one soft gel, right? That sets it apart from the pack. The other thing is it's the actual clinically studied one that we said. Now, benefit wise, I already mentioned it's a powerful antioxidant that supports mitochondria. It bathes our skin, all levels of our skin in antioxidants and
Mm.
immune, boost cardiovascular performance, boost sports recovery because it supports healthy inflammation response. So you start to get into, once again, you remember the inflammation, heart health, inflammation support, skin, healthy aging, right? So once again, this thing it hits all the marks, but it's different than cat's claw, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily focusing on DNA repair and whatnot. What it's doing, it's giving you radical antioxidant support. And it has a couple of properties that I find really interesting, like it's both fat and water soluble across this blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
So when we get to like talking about brain health, we're actually talking about something that actually goes through, but it actually goes all the way down into the eye. So we're getting support for our eyes. You know how much time do you spend on a computer a day?
Too much, probably.
Too much, right? Yeah, I have blue light glasses,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you probably didn't know that your astaxanthin also protects your eyes from the blue light that's coming off your computer screen, right? So the same way the powerful things that I love about astaxanthin externally is that it's helping work like an internal sunscreen. So it's helping protect our bodies from the constant bombardment from the sun, and it's helping protect our eyes from the constant bombardment of the computer, right?
That's
Two
huge.
major factors of aging right there.
Yeah.
Now it crosses the blood-brain barrier, right? Interesting. It supports mitochondrial health, right? So the inner workings of the cell, it's allowing your cell to function at a higher level, right? And for antioxidant status, for people that are like numbers dorks, when we say that this is the most powerful antioxidant on the planet, if you want to quantify it, we're talking 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's major. And with Proof Vitality, we're talking 12 milligrams, which is that's the maximum dose that you really need. I mean, past that, you're getting into like diminishing marginal return. You're not really getting results. So yeah,
Oh
it's
gosh.
dialed in.
I
So,
love it.
so just to recap, foundational, we got the AC11 DNA repair. Phase two, radical antioxidant and mitochondrial support, right? Cross blood-brain barrier, water and fat soluble. So you're getting support to all layers of the skin, all cells in your body, because it's going through everything.
Yeah, love it.
It's amazing. Now, phase three is what I like to call continued antioxidant support and microcirculation. Okay. Now we're going to get into pycnogenol, French maritime pine bark extract, right? And to explain like why that made the bundle, right?
Yeah.
So this stuff is another one of these plants. Like we could have spent the whole podcast talking about each one of those ingredients as its own thing, right? Now this one, like I already mentioned, microcirculation and whatnot. But first, I want to go generally into benefits. So this is a very powerful antioxidant. And when you look at the broad spectrum of benefits, I don't know if I've ever seen a plant that had as many science-based benefits. Once again, we're around 160 clinical studies. We're over 70 human trials, right?
Yeah.
It's from France. In France, I mean, this stuff's been studied for over 40 years at this point. It's been looked at for about 80.
Wow.
It's the subject of over 300 scholarly publications.
Wow.
So this is something that I encourage you, Google search pycnogenol 4 and don't fill in the blank and just see what pops up. Okay. Yeah. And these are NCBI studies. So I'm not making this up. This is not something I personally discovered or can take credit for. It's been studied almost my entire life. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just amazing plant. So basically, benefit wise, it supports cardio. I want to get on this one, cardiovascular health first with this one. So cardiovascular support, vein support. A lot of us, the older you get, down by the ankles, people got varicose veins, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants their varicose veins. So this supports healthy veins. I've got like people calling me up, crying, telling me like, oh my God, I can't believe it, this and that. And then they're talking about their varicose veins. So cardiovascular health, healthy veins, joint health, health, healthy eyes, sports performance, blood sugar support, like people that suffer from they're not able to control and regulate their blood sugar. I don't know if you guys understand this, but that affects their heart, that affects their entire body. And one of the most critical things it affects is circulation, right? Mm-hmm. So when we have something like pycnogenol, it's promoting healthy circulation. It's promoting healthy endothelial function. It's supporting the heart in every way possible, like on the cholesterol balance, the vein health, the endothelial support, microcirculation, getting circulation deep down into the eyes and into the brain and things like that, which, leads me to eye health, brain health, cognitive function, however you want to say it, even oral care. You can people that suffer with, gum issues and things like that, they can open up pycnogenol capsules and get it on their gums. I mean, you know what I mean? This is a powerful thing. And then the last thing I wanted to share specifically with your group, because, it's hippie mamas and everyone's moms and women and whatnot, is that this is as a supplement for women's health. This is a great supplement as well. Basically, first we'll do menstrual support. So for menstruating women, time of the month, I mean, it throws a lot of challenges at you. And this supplement helps offset some of those side effects of menstruation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like it's helping you cope with those things, mood and physical things like pain, right? So both mental and physically. And for menopausal women, it provides a layer of protection and support as well. And it does it without affecting your hormones. And I mention this only because, if you have members of your family that have struggled with breast cancer, or they're concerned with estrogen balancing and they can't use adaptogens to balance or to augment their estrogen levels naturally, this is something you can still take to offset some of the side effects of menopause, like thinning hair or the heat, hot flashes and things like that. So it supports a lot of these things that women go through when they get to that life change. So now we're going to get like, that's the cool, like deep level. Now let's talk about skin for a second, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I always like to think about the skin, not just because it's the largest organ in our body, but it's because it's our face. And as we present ourselves to the world, we're constantly being compared to our peers and in business and everything is superficial as it is. People are looking at you outwardly, and if your skin's glowing and you're radiating health from the outside, people just assume that you're a healthy individual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in regards to skin, now, the same way that this stuff supports the endothelial and the inside and the veins and whatnot, and circulation on the outside, it's going into your body as an antioxidant. It's creeping through and it docks on your collagen receptor sites. So at the foundational level of our skin, it's actually, we're really getting like foundational support at the cellular level. Wow. So specifically, because of that, it boosts collagen and elastin, but it also boosts hyaluronic acid. So we're talking about natural skin moisturization, the prevention of fine lines and wrinkles, and just healthy skin overall because we're moisturizing it internally. We're protecting it at the level of the cell.
Yes.
And additionally, it prevents the enzyme that breaks down elastin and collagen. So it's not only helping you produce and helping you support, but it's also taking care of it on a second phase, which was like helping combat the destruction of your collagen and elastin, right? So
Mm.
when it comes to skincare, I mean, this is one of the top supplements if just for skincare. But then you also get the trickle down. You get the heart health, the brain health, the women's health, blood sugar support, and things like that. And if you work out, which whether you do, you don't, whatever, it helps you recover from your exercise, and it helps your sports performance while you exercise.
That's huge. I mean, it just seems like if we can really support ourselves on a cellular level,
Yeah.
we can really support those cells and the mitochondria and just support that, everything's going to be supported. And it seems like you really found these incredibly scientifically studied elements or herbs or, molecules that you can really start to support yourself there. You're going to feel so much better. And it seems like there's such an array of health benefits here. I mean, from cholesterol to high blood pressure to diabetes and glucose levels and all that, that's just how the body regulating itself. It's healing itself. When we get to the cellular structure, the body's going to do what it needs to do. And I always talk about that. We have an innate capability of healing. All we must do is support that capability. And if we don't, we're full of toxins, it's going to have a hard time healing. So what I hear from you is these things can truly help us on a cellular level so that we can really start to see benefits that I think most of us, we don't see that. We take a supplement for a while, we don't see anything. But I will say, my friends, I've been taking these supplements. This is why we're having this conversation, because I really believe in it. I've been taking these supplements for a little over a month now. Fon and I was telling Fon this earlier before the podcast, is about 2 to 3 weeks in, I just started noticing something. And it was had a glow to it. It felt like a little more hydrated and not as crepey.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's such a funny word. I hate that word.
I know, I
Think
do
about your
too.
neck or something. Oh no, my crepes.
Yes, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I love the way you put it actually, because you said support, right? Now, these things they're not healing, they're not doing this and that. What they're doing is they're supporting your body's own ability to do its natural function, which is trying to repair itself. It's
yeah,
just being overwhelmed,
it's
And
overwhelmed.
one thing that I noticed about it when I first got on everything, when I first got on all three of those at the same time, the first thing that I noticed that gave me a lot of confidence was I didn't need to use chapstick. And, you live in Albuquerque,
Yeah,
and at the time I was over spending a lot of time in New Mexico and Santa Fe as well. And the first thing that I noticed was like, wow, man, I'm hydrated. My skin is hydrated. And I know because my hands aren't white,
yeah,
peeling with the skin crusting off, and my lips are moisturized. So I knew that, something was going on internally at that point. And that's when I first started getting excited too. And I'm almost positive it was in the same time frame.
yeah,
And I wouldn't want to discourage anybody that didn't get results in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, because when we look at science, we're looking at mostly, I think 90 days is a good general rule for most of the benefits. Some of them are going to be more like, you might want to stick around a little bit longer. Like if you're working on blood sugar, obviously that's forever. If you're
absolutely.
working on healthy aging, that's a daily commitment. It's just
Yeah,
like working out. But,
yeah,
I think that most people notice things pretty quickly. And, once someone gets started on the path with, like, for example, the beauty bundle, like I noticed that they turn into subscribers pretty quick. And basically, yeah, they stick with it for the long run.
well, and I like that it's one a day. Like you said, that's another thing is I can't keep up with taking supplements 3 times a day. Like I won't do it.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something like I'm just mainly shooting from the hip. But like in my notes, I wanted to discuss what I call pill burden. And like I
Mm.
think about like a lot of my friends and things like that. And I go over and I hang out with the health crowd, and you go over there and there's like they got 15, 20 supplements in their thing. And I was like, oh my God, what if I could, replace most of those with just three? What if I had your DNA repair, your mega antioxidant, and your microcirculation, and then your brain and your immune support, and you know what I mean? What if I could just roll that into three things that affected your body on like three different levels, but all help contributed to making you look and feel your best, right?
I love
That's
it.
basically pill burden, right? Like I don't want to take 20 pills to do that. Can I take three? I can do that. Now, while we're on this topic, I know you've been on this stuff, and so I just wanted to let you know when it comes to pycnogenol supplementation, the science shows that it's good to take that one in the morning.
Okay,
When
good
it
to
comes
know.
to, yeah, and when it comes to astaxanthin, fats with fat. So this is a fat. It's in a base of extra virgin olive oil, right? Once again, we got to have it. We don't want we don't want canola oil. We don't want soybean oil. Look at these supplements out here, guys. Look at your astaxanthin supplement and tell me what kind of oil's in there. Is that oil even good for you, right? So
Yeah.
ours is an extra virgin olive oil for a reason, right? It's one a day. The third thing is the dose range. You just got to take one of these. They're just one a days.
That's
You know
huge.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So no pill burden.
No pill burden. Yeah. I mean, I had a pill burden for a really long time and almost I just kind of got to a point I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. But so much of us are caught on this, this conventional, sick care. And they use fear. And so it's like this is why we need to come together and we need to start using things like this to support ourselves so that when I am 60, 70 years old, I still have energy. I have quality of life. I don't want to have horrible joints and want to lay around and watch Netflix all day because I don't have any energy. Like sometimes that's okay, but not every day,
Exactly. And then so the beautiful thing is this, since this is beauty from within,
Yeah.
it's look and feel, like we all want to take care of our skin. We're being judged primarily by that outside,
Yeah.
but it's good to go into this knowing that we're taking care of it on the cellular level, like you mentioned, so that we I still want to stay active. I don't want to just like sit on the couch all day. You know what I mean? So I love the way you think about it. Yep, I agree 100%. That's actually why we started this.
I really feel the mission and the integrity behind it. And that's why I think it's so important that we as hippie moms and as this movement, we really support companies that are doing it right. Not only are we going to get a product that's worth every penny, but we're also going to be supporting companies that do it right. And that is we vote with our dollars. And it's so important that we start to, to really focus on that and watch what we are supporting. So tell me a little bit more. So with this, you have the beauty bundle. So it's pretty easy to get. I'll make sure that we have a link, and you've been so great to send me like videos and just more information about these things. Is there anything else you want to add about Proof Vitality?
Yeah, so like I covered the beauty bundle primarily because that's a foundation of our company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also we have another product that I kind of wanted to go over briefly.
Please.
It's called LJ100 Tonkat Ali. And once again, we're looking at like another really cool science-based supplement. It's got 25 clinical studies on it. And this one is great for healthy aging, but it's different. It's great for testosterone support is basically what it is.
Wow.
So mainly guys buy it, but girls buy it too. And let me just explain first, right?
Yeah.
So basically what it is a clinically studied extract of Tonkat Ali, which is also called Long Jack. Now, this extract was produced in a collaboration with the country of Malaysia, the University of Malaya, and MIT over here in the USA. So this thing has a ton of research done on it, not only on just what it does, but how to extract it properly to make it the most effective, and which phytochemicals to basically standardize it to make it effective. Okay. So basically, this is a great supplement for healthy testosterone support. It also supports DHEA, which is another important, hormone. That's a sex hormone. It's also a healthy aging hormone. It helps combat cortisol, right? So it helps keep your stress hormones in check.
Yes.
And the end result is enhances sports performance, boosts lean muscle mass, frees globulin-bound testosterone, right? So a lot of women and men have problems with the sex hormone binding globulin. And so this is a supplement that helps free that up and get it loose into the bloodstream where it can be effective and be utilized by the body. And so it's really good for also sexual function for males. And for women, it's really great for bone density. So people that struggle with bone density, or women that have low T, and they have low T because it's globulin bound, like it's stuck to the sex hormone binding globulin. It can help free that up. So I think mainly guys are concerned with it, but women take it too. The company is ran by a woman too. Her name is Annie Ang, and she's from Malaysia, and she takes this stuff too. And so it's not just for guys. I mean, guys probably like it the most because of what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But bone matrix is an important thing, and this helps with a healthy bone remodeling. So yeah, I just want to throw a quick shout out about that one.
Yeah, no, thank you so much because I am taking that one too because I know that I do have low testosterone and I was doing just I didn't really know I was doing hormone therapy and it did not it just didn't feel good to me.
Not for everybody.
No, it's not, yeah, it's not for everyone. It wasn't for me. And so for me, it's like, how can I support, my body in the best way that I know how? And I do feel like I have more energy, like I'm waking up and I'm
Oh yeah.
good. Like I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the day. Not like, oh my gosh, can I go back to sleep for another couple hours? Like I'm ready to roll. That's
Yeah,
me.
yeah, you're feeling it. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, it's for sport. I use it for sports performance too. Like that's my mountain biking hack. It's
Yeah.
one of them. I got a bunch of others too. But what it does is when you're working out really hard, your body tends to go catabolic and it spikes your cortisol levels. So one really cool thing that it does is it protects your testosterone level while you're working and it keeps your cortisol level more in check. So that in itself, this maintaining those ratios properly helps you recover easier as well, right? So it not
Yeah.
helps you build better, better muscle skeletal system, but it actually helps you repair quicker. And I think that combination of things is great for men and women. Now, one side note, did you know? So you know that estrogen, like having proper levels of estrogen and testosterone, impacts the healthier skin, right?
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I would assume so, but tell me a little bit about that. I didn't
Yeah.
really know
So we'll say estrogen first because estrogen is a very important for collagen and things like that, right? But testosterone also improves skin health and elasticity and helps tighten the skin up, right? And we're not talking about excessive testosterone. This isn't something that's giving you testosterone, okay?
that. Right.
Women, like I just want to be
Yeah.
reassuring that this helps balance it, and it's not going to give you secondary sex characteristics or anything like that.
Thank God.
It's just allowing you to use what you have, utilize what you have, so it can help improve your grip strength just by freeing up what you got.
Oh my gosh. And isn't grip strength, that's actually directly related to how long you're going to live, right? How I've heard that, like how your grip strength is connected to how long you're going to actually live.
Yeah, like it also is an indicator of if you have low T or not for guys. Like when you go in to get checked, I mean, that's kind of like the first thing they do. They'll kind of like grip test you. And if they notice like, hey, you're losing your grip, then that could be an indication of something greater going on, right?
That's
Not just
interesting.
losing a little muscle. You could be, having some hormone issues.
Yeah.
But so like testosterone and skin, people don't really talk about it often, but it helps improve skin health, elasticity, tightens the skin. It increases the natural production of skin. Obviously, we're not talking about steroids, guys. We're not talking about taking testosterone.
Yeah.
So we're not worried about acne like we're shooting, we're shooting
Yeah.
steroids. But it does improve your natural oil production, so you can help moisturize your skin tone naturally, and it stimulates melanin. So for skin tone, so yeah, increase collagen and decrease wrinkles, and people with psoriasis, that's connected to low T as well.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, these aren't cures for these
Right.
things, but they help balance your body's own natural ability to repair itself and balance
Right.
its own hormone levels, free up what it has, utilize it. So it's just helping you work with what you got.
I love that. And it really is just a reminder that anything that we experience is a symptom, right? If we have high blood pressure, we have like achy joints, or we have psoriasis, like it's the body's way of saying, hey, I'm out of balance. I need some support. And so what I'm hearing is all of these things and the health benefits, they're going to help the body get into homeostasis. That's what I'm hearing. Like that's what the body needs is homeostasis, getting back to balance. And these
Balance.
are helping us do that. And then the benefits are just natural. Our body, we're healing ourselves. So we're going to have more energy. We're going to have beautiful skin.
You're 100% right. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, like you're just reinforcing like why how we got into this in the first place and what we wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, I feel it. I feel it. That's like everything that I really want to create in my life is I want to do things that are going to support me, support my body to do its job. I don't need to fix anything. I need to support it. And I
Right.
think that's where it's a different mind shift from sick care or getting, pills or pharmaceuticals. It's like, I'm taking this to fix me. It's like, it's not gonna fix you. It's just going to cover up a symptom of something bigger. So we're getting to the foundation of health is where I really feel these supplements are helping us get to that point, which is so important.
Yeah, I agree about the foundation because when you're speaking on allopathy and naturopathy, so
Yeah.
allopathic medicine, the whole goal is to basically treat a symptom like you mentioned, but it's also they're giving you something that directly affects an organ or a system of organs, right? So that makes it different than what we're doing here, because what we're trying to do is exactly what you said. We're trying to generally support the body at the center level, right? So we're not going to give exact function to the skin itself or the eye or the brain or this and that. That's why our supplements are so versatile, because they're generally supporting the body, and they're either quenching free radicals or helping clear junk out of the cells and things like that to help your body dysfunction on a higher level from the inside out, like, all your organs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just feel that this is going to resonate with so many of our listeners, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, that's what we truly want, is just to support ourselves in that innate capacity to heal, and our children too. I mean, can children take these supplements? Are we there yet? Or is this more just specifically adults for now?
I wouldn't recommend anything for children, not that with the exception of pycnogenol.
Okay.
Because the thing is like with our astaxanthin, that's adult level dosage right there. Because we've got a full 12 milligrams, meaning you should not, you don't even need to go take the second one. Like if you feel like taking 2 or 3, you don't need to. You just took 4 of the competitors, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to children and also pets, right? Like let's extend this to pets. Now astaxanthin is great for children. It's great for pets. Pycnogenol is great for kids that need cognitive support. But the thing is because they are children, as a herbalist, we always got to be careful about what we're saying.
For sure.
If you have kids that are, like need cognitive support, ADHD sort of thing, I would definitely do some Google searches on pycnogenol. And for pets and stuff like that, I would look into astaxanthin, but they don't need your 30-pound dog doesn't need that 12 milligrammer. You know what I mean? And AC11, I would say, that's because it's focusing on DNA repair and stuff like that. I mean, most of these kids, the thing that makes them kids is the fact that their body can still do that.
I know, their telomeres are long already.
Yeah, well, their body repairs itself at a level that mine just cannot, right? And that's why I need some AC11. But another thing about AC11 and these things is immune support, right? Now, when kids are becoming adolescents, right, and they're getting into the weight range of an adult, and they're suffering from, like, let's say like acne or cognitive things, I think you would definitely want to do some research. But because they are younger, I would do that with a healthcare practitioner. So you could go down to your local compounding pharmacy that sells supplements and, find a wellness consultant and bring your kid in there and be like, look, man, I take this stuff. I've got a 15-year-old who's suffering from, menstrual this or skin or that. Right. And I think that would be the proper way to take care of your kids with these same sort of ingredients.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Thank you so much. And now at least, I'm going to have the link on the show notes so people can go and find you and check out the videos. But that's another thing, is just starting to become aware of these different herbs, or is astaxanthin. I can't say it.
A tongue twister. Astaxanthin's a tongue twister.
No, is that from algae? Is that what it's from?
It's an aquatic carotenoid.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's from an algae. You're 100% right. Ours is made in America. It's made in the USA. Like I said, none of our ingredients come from China. Like Tonkat Ali, Malaysia, Pine Bark, France, AC11, Bolivia, Peru, where it's supposed to come from, right?
Love it, yeah.
And what was the other one?
Astaxanthin,
America, right?
I love it.
Yeah, we got all 4 of them.
Yeah, it's important, but we can start to, that I think what's so beautiful about this conversation is, especially if we are looking to support our kids, like we're just becoming more aware of what's out there and the different things that we can really start to research and learn about, instead of just going on this one path of the pharmaceutical, because there's no path for that with children. There's no end game ever with that.
Sorry to interject, but kids with respiratory issues need to be looking into pycnogenol. Anything respiratory that you suffer from, Google search that, whatever that may be, with the word pycnogenol.
Okay. I love that. And I'll make sure that I have that in the show notes too. So if people want to start, because I think that's a beautiful thing about this community. We're planting seeds and then we're also giving people resources. Like, this is what can really make a big difference.
I was going to say, like, would it be cool? We could offer like a coupon code or something.
I would yes. Can we do that?
Yeah. Oh, and we could do something like, code hippie or code hippie mom. You got
Yeah,
it.
awesome.
Hippie
That would be
mom.
amazing.
And
Yes.
then we'll do this. How about this? One time only, right?
Okay.
25% off any sale, right? But we're going to do 25% off for life on subscriptions. So
Oh
if
my
you
God.
subscribe and save, you're already getting a 10% discount. Plus, you're going to tack on this additional 25% discount,
Oh
and
my
it'll
gosh.
last the lifetime of your subscription. So we'll call it a lifetime subscription bonus. How about that?
Okay. Thanks, Fawn. I'm so excited to bring this to Hippie Moms because I've really, like I said, I believe in it. I have a really good gut feeling about it. And that's another thing. I was muscle testing. I'm a big muscle tester. Like, is my body, and it's like every time it's like, yes, yes, yes,
Can I give you an anecdotal?
yes.
You can put this on the show or not, but like I have one of my guys that I help out in Austin. He's been on everything for like almost a year now. And, I don't know how spiritual the crowd is or whatever, and you can take this with a grain of salt,
Ah,
everybody. But he had his medical intuitive come in and test every single one of his supplements. And he like, did it was like, and like honed in on our stuff or whatever. And he
really?
was ranking these like in the high nine. If he was going to put it down on 1 to 100s, he's like, these whoever whatever these are or whatever you're doing with these, keep taking these. These resonate in the high 90s. You know what I mean?
Yes. No,
But
I feel
you're
it.
not the only one that noticed it.
It's like a high vibration. That's how I feel. I feel like it's a high vibrational supplement. And it's not about fixing anything, it's about supporting the body to do what it needs to do. And that's what I love. I really I just really feel so in alignment and attunement with this. And I'm just so excited to support you and support it's such a win-win for our community and Proof Vitality, to support you in this.
Yeah, and I'm like extremely happy to be on your show today. I mean, to be honest, like as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I really want to do that. I was excited to get on here because I just like honestly, you know how the world is. It's just great to talk to another kindred spirit that's in alignment with the healthy lifestyle thing and getting things from the planet and looking to Mother Earth for the answers and realizing that we're not basically going to fix anything, but we're going to support it on the cellular level so we can help it fix itself and the homeostasis things and the balance and everything that you mentioned. That's exactly what we think about in our approach to supplementation, health and wellness in general.
Oh, wow. I mean, we're just speaking each other's language. And I really do, I just have that deep trust that I'll always be led to the right people at the right time to like bring, that support to our community. So I'm just so grateful that we got connected through one of my best friends, Angela Ferrari. And she's like, you got to talk to this guy. And she was talking about the supplements first. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get these. Like, first of all, I'm like, if Angela's taking them, I'm going to take them.
Shout out to Angela Ferrari. Yeah, she's just a great. She's another like a kindred spirit. I met her at some show, and immediately I just started talking to her just energetically, and then we started getting into health stuff right off the bat, and then we maintained like contact. And when I started Proof, I was like, man, let me reach out to Angela because I really want to let her to try this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a small world. I met her. She met you. We're all from New Mexico, which is another
I know.
small community. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's beautiful. We just gotta like follow the breadcrumbs. Every step is always going to be lit up before us, and that's how I feel with like these things. It's like when these came into my life because I was looking for something. I want something that can support me that I don't have to remember to take 3 times a day, and that's going to be the highest quality. Like I deserve that. This vessel, it's like you are going to get the best because I'm going to be running around with my grandkids. I'm going to take them on hikes and
right.
adventures in the Grand Canyon. Darn it! So.
That's
Yeah,
right.
gotta maintain. So, oh my gosh, Fawn, thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure's all mine. I really appreciate you getting me on here and Angela connecting us.
And let's do a follow-up. Because I know things are always changing. There's new research that I feel like we could just go down the rabbit hole and talk forever. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks, Fawn.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, we'll catch you on the next Hippie Moms podcast and make sure to check out the show notes for all the information we talked about today. Bye.